was definitely very stylized. Putting it very lightly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really obscure character from what I understand.
It actually took me a minute to be able to look up the background on this character.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard of him, and
I had heard the name,
okay.
and I knew the name Jack Harlow, and I knew the name Elsa Bloodstone, and that's like literally it. So, like, just from obscure references and like video games and like other stuff like that, and just picking up kind of some of the more supernatural aspects of like Marvel comics and stuff like that, I knew of them. But like that was really it. Like, so I was pretty much going into this completely blind.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were, because it doesn't look like, from the best that I was able to find, that this character's ever really had that big of a run, or has had that prominent of a role in any of even the supernatural team-ups within the Marvel Universe. He's been around, but never this prominently.
Yeah.
And I think that if we were going to be getting an introduction to what the MCU is going to be doing with the more supernatural elements,
The spooky side.
yes, I feel like they couldn't have done any better than this. But more importantly, I think because this was, without question, a classic creature feature.
Yes.
Like, from the cinematography and lighting to the performances and the writing, all of it felt like a classic, B-movie creature feature. And not like it was trying to be, but like it was.
Yeah.
And I think that right there says more about how they're going to be treating genre moving forward than anything else, because we've kind of been getting that impression that they're going to be diving into different genres a bit more purely for each upcoming movie and show, like that they are going to be trying to actually recreate more genres as from more of a purist standpoint.
Yeah.
But I think this really solidified that they are, and they can.
Yeah. And I mean, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I know up to this point, we had gotten glimpses of the supernatural throughout, what could possibly come into the MCU, Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Multiverse of Madness, spoilers, but the introduction of the Black Knight at the end of Eternals, and the introduction of Blade at the end of Eternals. So this was, very much the like, everything up to this was kind of like you're kind of dipping your toes into the water. You're kind of, getting a sense for maybe what's to come. This was a full-on, like, diving headfirst into the deep end.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of just, like you said, anything, everything from the cinematography to, it felt like an old school, universal, like, 1920s, 1930s, like, horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, black and white, like the Q dots in the top right corner signifying that it's going to the next shot. The cinematography, like this might have one of my favorite shots in all of Phase 4, was the transformation where it just focuses on her and the cattle prods are sitting there hitting him, and it's just a flash of light every now and then, and you see the shadow of him transforming. Like, that is very aesthetically like old school traditional horror movie.
Yes.
And it fits so beautifully.
Oh, absolutely. And I loved so much about this. And I mean, you mentioned the Eternals and how, they kind of, at the end, they teased the introduction of the supernatural a bit, but I think the Eternals was also, along with what they did with WandaVision, the MCU's original 2 attempts to show that they intended to dive into deeper genres than what they've done before. And I mean, we've seen them dive into more genre-focused pieces with things like Captain America, the Winter Soldier, with Guardians of the Galaxy, with
Black Panther.
Definitely Black Panther, with so much of what they've done for the individual hero movies. But now I think with this edition, it's much clearer that they're not just kind of going to be doing it, but the Marvel version, it is.
Yeah, it felt like you said. All of those still felt like Marvel movies. Like this didn't really feel like a Marvel anything.
Yeah. No, and that's actually the thing that I loved the most about this is that yes, it was Marvel. You knew that from the logo, but that was it. Like,
dude, even the
wasn't throwing it in your face the whole time.
Even the intro, where like as it's doing the normal Marvel intro, you see the slash marks taking out the screen, or you see like the Marvel Studios logo get electrocuted, like it's a Frankenstein monster.
Yes.
Or like, you know, a scene, not to give too many spoilers away, but when, you know, Jack Harlow does turn into the werewolf and he's ripping people to shreds and the blood hits the camera.
Yes. Which
I'm sitting there watching it, I'm like, what the hell am I watching?
Which I will actually say, one of the things that I loved so much about the style, there was very much an attempt to show focus with the little bit of color that we got, which at the very beginning was only just the red of the Bloodstone. And not really spoiler, but by the end of the movie, it goes full Wizard of Oz. Special presentation. It goes full Wizard of Oz and fades to color. Starting,
actually, I think
with red.
Yeah, and I think it was to the tune of Somewhere Over the Rainbow too, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
And so it started with red and went out across the rest of the color spectrum. And the fact that up until that point, the use of red had been explicitly only for the stone. It really goes back to show that they were so focused in on every little detail, and it just worked.
Yeah, like it really did. Like it's, like I said, it was the most non-Marvel thing that's come out in a minute.
Yeah,
and it did, and it worked. And even Kyla brought up, you know, like the transformation was obviously CGI'd.
Sure.
Because it was the shadows against the wall and everything like that. But then when you actually see him for the first time, like it was all prosthetic makeup and everything, to the point that Kyla was like, oh, you know what? Like he looks a little hokey.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it actually works perfectly for what they're doing.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I mean, and I know it sounds like we are just only praising this. And
because we are.
I mean, to a certain extent we are.
Yeah.
I have a hard time finding any fault with this, because even something as small and what seems like inconsequential as the length of it, the 52 minutes.
Oh, I thought it was brilliant to do it less than an hour.
It fit right in with the same kind of duration that you got with like the classic Boris Karloff, or your original Universal Wolfman. If it went any longer, even if they had stuck to the tropes of the genre, it would have felt wrong, because it would have started to feel too long, and it needed to feel very tight and quick, so that it left you wanting more.
Do you remember when Universal was trying to reboot their monster franchise with the Dark Universe? And they started with the Tom Cruise Mummy, which I actually really liked. I thought that was a much better film than it got credit for. What if they had done something in this vein to start it?
Oh, I think they would have dominated the box office.
You think like it would have, instead of doing the big grandiose blockbuster and everything like that, what if they had actually done like an old school creature feature?
I think they would have dominated the box office and would have really given Disney and Marvel a run for their money as far as what cinematic universe people were talking about. I think they would have found so much more success. And honestly, if Universal ever does choose to go that route, I think that'd be fantastic. But the thing is, though, I don't know if anybody other than somebody as big as Marvel and Disney is willing to be that bold. Because, I mean, think about it. We've gotten how many actual monster movies, like classic monster movies, your Godzillas, your King Kongs, your other generic kaijus. How many of those have we gotten that absolutely couldn't help themselves from just sticking with the modern movie aesthetic, modern movie tropes?
Yep.
None of them, even the ones like Godzilla and King Kong, that are based in the classic creature feature style, they couldn't even hint at that. They had to go too modern with it and feel like it was just too long, too much, just too much of everything.
That's why I really liked the 2014 Godzilla, because like, how long did it take to even see Godzilla on screen? I think that was the closest one that we got to an old school, like, and that's what I think this one did so well is we didn't see Jack in werewolf form until like the last 15 minutes of the special. Like, you need to build to that moment. You know, it's almost like the it's almost like the Frankenstein's monster moment where, you know, he's on the slab and it comes up very slowly and you first see him for the first time. Like, you know, what is it, the thing that Kevin Smith talks about when he's talking to John Peters doing his whole spiel about the Superman movie that he made, where John Peters was like, when I was a kid, there was this moment when I saw King Kong for the first time, and you kind of have that big grandiose moment where he's revealed on screen for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that I think modern movies miss is that big moment of like, here it is, like actually building to that one singular shot of seeing X or Y for the first time.
Yeah, and you mentioned the raising of Frankenstein for the first time, and yes, Frankenstein is correct. Not just Frankenstein's monsters, you pedantic. Because technically, Frankenstein's the last name. So Frankenstein's monster would also be a Frankenstein. Just saying.
Where the hell did that soapbox come from?
I've had a lot of arguments about that one, and it gets so annoying. And I know there's somebody in the comments just waiting to say it. But
so if you want to see Brad's head explode, in the comments below.
But no, I will say, speaking of the raising of Frankenstein for the first time, we had a moment at the beginning of the film that kind of felt exactly like that, with the reveal of the almost mummy-like corpse of the now deceased father Bloodstone. Mm-hmm. And it was crazy. Like, it felt exactly like that. And I think one of the other things that is so great about this one, and I think it's going to be severely underappreciated, is that for the first time in all of Marvel, like modern Marvel history,
Marveldom,
this is one thing that you can watch where there really aren't spoilers.
Yeah.
Because there isn't the big reveal that you're waiting for that nobody knew before. Like, everything about the ending is telegraphed from the beginning and more or less shown in the trailers. The enjoyment of this is not the reveal, it is the experience.
Yeah.
Because the reveal, it has that little consequence to your overall enjoyment.
Well, and the brilliant thing too is this was,
and it's not even a reveal, right, technically.
But this was also filmed as something that could either stand alone on its own and not go any further and just kind of exist here, or you could build upon future franchises and bring in future characters with the characters that were introduced in this. Like, it is almost like I almost want to say like it is the perfect creation of like it's either a starting off point or it can just exist on its own.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love that. So yeah, no, I don't think there's all that much more to say about this.
No, like
because at this point, anything more is just going to be getting into recreating and describing the whole thing scene by scene.
Yeah. Look, like this is an easy watch. It's a lot of fun. If you like anything horror themed, like this is something you can just you literally just sit down and you just kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, and thing is, it's not when we say horror themed, it's not even like scary horror. Like we're talking classic horror.
Yeah.
So this is something.
It's a classic monster movie.
Yeah, this is something that you can show kids. I wouldn't necessarily recommend like little kids because of the whole violence after the transformation,
heads and everything.
Yeah, but otherwise, no, I think like some older kids, and whatnot would love it.
All right, so we're gonna run down and we're gonna put it on and...
Oh no, that wouldn't go well.
But no, look, this is
it's great. Honestly,
like this is an old school monster movie.
Yeah,
like this is an old school. You get a couple of jump scares. This isn't anything that's too over the top. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna crap my pants. I'm so terrified.
No,
but at the same time, like it is that moment of like, oh, okay. Like when it was over, I was just like, holy shit, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was so simple, it was so stripped down. It was pretty much all, I mean, as much as they could do, practical effects, practical makeup. So, I mean, it like for what it was and for what it was going for and what it was paying homage to, I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, and the only part in there that was, as far as I could tell, 100% CGI, was the reveal of the monster that's introduced at the beginning.
Ted.
Yeah, Ted, which still love that. But
just call him by his name. His name's Ted.
Which, even then, I don't really feel like that felt out of place.
No.
Because it was still it was done so well and so cleanly that alongside the practical effects, you just kind of went, yeah, sure, okay.
Well, also too, what that also kind of alludes to is the fact that like, sure, Ted's a monster, but like he's just another creature that exists in this universe.
Yes.
Like Ted was pretty chill from what we saw interacting with the characters that didn't want to, murder the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So like it was also kind of cool to bring into that aspect the human side of it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you know who Ted is from the comics, and that's the one thing that I don't know if that really counts as a spoiler as to what the character's actual name is.
I don't even know.
Something.
That's DC.
Sorry, not something. The Marvel's version of the creature from the Black Lagoon. Hold on.
So unprofessional.
Marvel. Man-Thing.
Oh, okay.
Man-Thing. So I was close. Man-Thing. Like even that, like it's not really a spoiler because it's never mentioned in the context of the movie. But yeah, I mean the fact that you got Man-Thing, you got Werewolf by Night, you got
Elsa
Bloodstone, and all of that just felt like just a part of a classic creature feature. Like nothing necessarily connected to a large universe. It's just.
I mean, I would argue, I guess, then you're creating a lead up to the Midnight Suns, but
we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for now, obviously, I think we both have to recommend this.
Yeah, like if you want something, yeah, it's an easy watch. It's fun. It's very atmospheric. It's an old school monster movie. Like, go just sit down and enjoy it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
This isn't, sorry to interrupt you. No, I'm not really sorry. Like this isn't I have to watch this to fit into the grandiose picture of going into the next Marvel movie or the next Marvel series to understand what's going on.
Yes, it is.
This is, well, not really.
No, well, to fit in with, the cool kids.
Well, there you go. But, like, if you just want something that's just gonna sit down and fun and an easy watch, like, just sit down and watch it.
Yes, yeah. No, I would say if you wanted something that would be perfect to watch on Halloween, do it.
Watch Halloween on Halloween.
Heathen. Go for the classics.
Halloween.
Get some culture.
Bitch, Halloween is the greatest slasher movie ever made, if not the greatest horror movie ever made.
Oh, well, speaking of, we're going to be getting into that exact
segue!
topic. This Sunday at Madness Games and Comics, which we probably should have mentioned at the start of this.
Oh, yeah, we probably should have plugged that one.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yes, no, this Sunday, Madness Games and Comics, 2 p.m., we are going to be going live there to with our friend David. Kyle's
friend of the show, David Zimmerman.
Kyle's going to be back on and not busy with,
And it will be our, God, is this
other things.
Is this our 5th annual Halloween special now?
I believe so, yeah.
So, yeah.
Fourth or
5th, right?
Yeah, I'll go back and count. But yeah. It's going to be great. We're going to be going super over the top with this.
Yes. And to put it in perspective, I texted our friend David and I said, bitch, you have a tradition to uphold. You better be there.
Yes. But unlike
and he replied with when and where.
Yeah. But unlike our previous Halloween specials, because we are going to be live at Madness with the live audience, it will be family-friendly language. So
bullshit.
Don't be expecting our normal liberal use of
every goddamn time with you. Is it still on or is it? Stupid no.
But yes, no, it's gonna be great. So
yes,
yeah, just come check it out. We're gonna be there for about 2 hours.
Do you want to tell them what we're doing?
Yeah, we're gonna be arguing about what the best horror movie of all time is, and in the meantime, kind of go over what makes the best horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're each bringing our own. We're going to dissect them. We're going to hopefully have audience participation,
and some of our answers may surprise you.
Yes,
and some may offend.
I mean, I know what yours is, and yes, you better have that damn censor button ready.
But yes, it's going to be
Absolute
great. It's going to be great.
And we will have candy for the kiddos and no razor blades involved.
Yes.
Maybe. Haven't decided yet. It'll depend on how I feel in the morning.
Yeah. But with that, guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you have not already, please do be sure to like us the video and follow us over on Facebook. Share with your friends, family, whatever.
Strangers.
Yeah. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell over on YouTube, because that tells the lovely YouTube algorithm that you want to see more of our content, and it will let you know every time we go live or post a new video.
And guys, I can only create so many spam accounts to keep liking our stuff, so I need you guys to get on that.
Shh. We don't want them to know.
Oh, that's fair.
Sorry,
trade secret.
And of course, if you want to check out more of our content but don't have time for the videos, you can always go check out the audio of our interviews and live shows over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher, because reasons.
Yeah.
But with that, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We could not be happier to have been able to talk about this, and we are so excited about this Sunday. Please definitely come out. It's going to be great. And until
there may or may not be drinking involved. We haven't decided yet.
It's going to be 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, but it's a weekend, so it's fine.
Until Sunday, I'm Brad. That's Mike. We're Dallas Geek, and see ya.